Vikings versus Chiefs.
Let's go, let's rock, let's roll. Tick-tock, let's go, let's rock, let's roll.
10 seconds to go. 24-23 Saints. Vikings at their own 39. It's third down. Three receivers right, Thielen left. Marshawn Lattimore 12 yards from Adam. Case on a deep drop, steps up in the pocket. He'll fire to the right side, caught by Diggs. Stay in oh my God! No 30, no 10, touchdown!
To the end zone, no false stars. And it's over 10 toes, no half hard. I'ma hit you with a move that you can't guard.
Tick-tock, let's go! This is where your Climbing the Pocket Network's personalities and guests get together to talk about your Minnesota Vikings. So it's time to let's go!
Let's start this show. We are here for a Climbing the Pocket Network roundtable. And we have Ted Glover, Flipmazzi, and Yinka Ayinde from Climbing the Pocket, ready to discuss the Vikings versus Chiefs, where the Vikings went down to Kansas City and lost in the last second to a field goal. How you doing, Flip?
I'm doing well, David. It's great to be on. Tough, hard-fought game this afternoon, but let's just do a little recap show for the people.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Well, you know, a lot of people say that it's annoying that I have such a positive attitude after a loss. Like I said, tough, hard-fought game. It was amazing to watch. I think the Vikings left a lot of plays out on the field. They also made a lot of plays that got them back into that game. I think the biggest issue, the biggest problem I had with the Vikings' performance was actually the offensive play calling. And outside of that, there are things that you want to see changed just in terms of this game. But overall, there's no big worry for me as far as where the Vikings are headed this season. I think going into Arrowhead was also always going to be a tough place to go in and pull out a win. But we were in that game throughout. It was a close contest. The Vikings just didn't come out at top. So we need to learn our lessons and get ready for Dallas win in primetime next Sunday.
Mm-hmm. I agree. What do you think, Yinka?
Well, you know, I only had the fortune to follow on the game, you know, via Twitter. I kind of saw some videos on NFL.com, so I could only pop in and out. But from the few plays that I was seeing, it seemed as if, you know, Kirk Cousins was he was off today, and we've seen the games, the Green Bay game, the Bears game, and then now this game. When he's off, it isn't just a guy who, you know, has a few overthrows, has some few misaccuracies, but it really feels like he loses his confidence. And I think it was Andrew Kramer or maybe Ben Gessling who tweeted out that Kirk was yelling at someone on the sidelines and saying, like, I'm trying. And honestly, it doesn't really inspire a lot of leadership when he does things like that. And we've seen him with, like, last season, we saw him with Adam Thielen getting into it and some stuff with Stephon Diggs. And truthfully, this is the stuff that worries me when you guys see me get on this dude. It's just like there's something there. There is something that exists deep in his brain that just comes out, that you start to see him lose that form of leadership that he needs to have, because when things are going great, he's that rah-rah guy. He's a guy who's like in people's faces. He's encouraging people. But when he is not on, there doesn't seem to always be in the moment. Afterwards, yes. In the moment, there doesn't seem to be a guy who's being accountable for his own actions and how he's playing. I don't see the guy that's just like, you know what, my bad. I'm off. I need to step it up. I need to lead these men to that victory. And that has been one of my biggest critiques as far as Kurt is, like, when we think about a leader, I think about a guy who, if the team isn't doing well, even if he is going lights out, that's the guy that's like, you know what, I'm going to step up my play. I'm going to make sure everyone else around me is playing at a higher level. Even if I'm, 19 of 19, 3,000 yards, I'm going to throw for 4,000. That's a Luke Braun joke, by the way. And I'm gonna make sure my team, even if we lose the game, they're gonna know that I gave it everything. And we don't always see that with Kurt, especially in these kinds of games. And yes, I am calling him Kurt because of the way he played today.
Okay, fine. Go ahead and call him Kurt, because that is ridiculous for anybody who watched this game, who saw that man struggle but still throw those touchdown passes to get his team back into the game, to get the lead in the fourth quarter for a defense to give that lead back. It was not Kirk Cousins who was the source of pain in this game. He had some short overthrows, which I think hurt the Vikings offense marginally, but we know that Kirk Cousins can go ahead and get this team the lead. And you look at what the Vikings do every single time we put the game on Kirk Cousins' shoulders, we struggle on offense. So why in the world would they do that on purpose? Why would they start the game with the first 3 plays of the game, they pass. They don't get Dalvin Cook involved.
I just want an entire show with Yinka Ayinde's facial expressions, because Flip, when you were talking right now, I wasn't disagreeing, but Yinka's facial expressions were freaking glorious. No, absolutely glorious. Just saying.
We know what the Vikings offense is, and they got away from it. That's the bottom line with this game.
But they got away with it from Kirk throwing sailed passes all day. High and off target.
2-yard passes.
That's another problem. 2 yards instead of plus 10.
Real quick. So, Flip, you said something that I hear. I know you've said this before. The other Vikings fans say this, and it somewhat boggles my mind. I'm just going to throw this out here. I expect a dude who I'm paying, not even going to go there. I expect if he is going to be my quarterback, I expect the dude to be able to shoulder the weight of being able to throw the football and not make me cringe because he's going to do it more than 15 times a game. Because the expectation as the quarterback is that your primary job is to throw the football. If you can't do that consistently without us being like, yo, this shouldn't be our game plan because he should just be here to, make sure he doesn't screw it up. Maybe, just maybe, we have the wrong guy.
Yeah, if you want to use some general-ass concept of what an NFL offense is going to look like, sure, go watch the Patriots, go watch the Saints. That's not what we have here in Minnesota. And that's not the type of attack you should be using against the Kansas City Chiefs, who have a weak run defense, and when you have Dalvin Cook in the backfield. If you want to put it all on Kirk, go ahead. But that's not what the offensive game plan has been here in Minnesota, and they got away from that in Arrowhead.
So to that point then, Flip, because you mentioned like the Patriots and the Saints and stuff, those teams are consistently winning.
So are we.
But the thing is like it's not enough to just win in the regular season. We consistently don't see success after the regular season happens because of this very thing. It's because we keep putting we keep getting quarterbacks to just manage, right? And then we get these stud running backs or, backfields or whatever the case is that can get us over that hump, and obviously paired with a phenomenal top 5 type defense. But our consistent issue is this. It's the fact that we cannot rely on that guy who is under center, who is making those dropbacks consistently, is why we can't be in the same breath as these other teams. Because truthfully, with a team that's been this consistent on defense, with a team who has an amazing running back for all stress of the minds, we should be able to win consistently. Now, granted,
you win consistently.
No, I'm not just talking about regular season wins against teams who are average or below.
All right. Well, let's get to the playoffs and we'll see what happens, because I'm still riding on this team.
I'm too. I'm just saying. We saw the game today. I mean, I didn't, but y'all did, and so I'm just saying.
Yeah, Kirk showed up.
If that's the team y'all won in the playoffs, that's cool with me. But I'm just saying,
you don't have to watch. You don't have to be here for it. I'm gonna keep on watching. I'll watch them in the playoffs too.
I'm just gonna keep eating my popcorn shrimp while I keep having.
Ted, what have you got to say?
I think you should share some of that popcorn shrimp because it sounds absolutely fabulous right now.
It's good though.
But gentlemen, here's my thing. Kirk Cousins made some terrible throws today. Throws you should not expect a guy that's been in the league, 7, 8 years now, to just airmail. I mean, he was 9 of 21 in the first half. That said, he made a lot of good throws in the second half. That touchdown throw to Rudolph, I would argue maybe 3 or 4 guys in the league can make. And that's kind of the thing with Kirk Cousins. He just does these baffling things, but then he does these amazing things. And I can't put the entire blame for today's loss on him because Mike Zimmer failed on 3 or 4 just ridiculously bad coaching decisions. I don't understand why they went to the pass so much in the first half when Dalvin Cook is the leading rusher in the NFL and the Chiefs are 30th in the NFL in defending the run. I guess my point is there was a lot of blame to go around today. And although Kirk Cousins has some of it, I don't know that I would put all of it on him. I mean, there was just, the last 8 minutes of the game, the Vikes had two possessions. They should have maybe ran the ball with Dalvin Cook a little bit more. I would argue Kirk should have made a couple passes, made a couple throws. But the defense just sort of collapsed as well. I mean, it was just sort of a total team effort in that regard. It was just kind of frustrating to watch the whole afternoon.
Yeah, I agree. I think those last 2 drives, you look at the play calls made, and I also think the drive before halftime where they get down, it's 1st and goal, and just 3 straight passes there. You go into halftime settling for a field goal with a timeout still in your pocket. It's like you have to be more threatening in the red zone there. And that mistake, settling for a field goal before the half, the missed extra point, and those last 2 drives, the play calling on those last 2 drives, really sunk this team's offensive effort.
Yep, sure did. Where are you going, Yinka? You're walking, man. You're mobile.
Just changing the venue, man.
Well, combination between bad coaching choices, whether
I think
it be Zimmer or his coordinators, and I want to say Kirk Cousins played because he was 50% today, which is not good.
Yeah, to an extent, but man, I don't think you can put this all on Cousins. I mean, the defense gave up huge big plays when they didn't need to, or when they, I mean, granted, the Chiefs made some plays. I mean, Sammy Watkins made 2 or 3 just ridiculous one-handed catches. Yeah. And in that case, all you can really do is kind of tip your cap and just, kind of try and be better the next play. But, there was an equal amount of offense and defense and coaching decisions. And even that last punt by Colquitt where, he kicked the Chiefs into field goal position before they even took the field. I don't know. I mean, this just so many people are like safety wired to want to blame Kirk Cousins on stuff, and I don't think this was all on Kirk Cousins. I feel there were equal parts offense, defense, and coaching that just kind of caused him to lose this game when it felt like a game they should have won.
Mm-hmm.
This was a 3-point loss. It's a loss, and it's a loss.
But an L is an L.
An L is an L. This was a 3-point loss. They were not blown out. They were competitive for this entire affair. And when you're in these tight games, those small mistakes are magnified. So You can't allow a 91-yard run in a 3-point loss. You can't miss extra points in a 3-point loss. And that's what went wrong today. Now, those are things they obviously need to fix going forward, but I think those are things that can be corrected and get this offense and team back to where they need to be. Here's the other thing. They really have missed Adam Thielen for the last 2 weeks.
And he re-aggravated his hamstring today.
Re-aggravated his hamstring. He was out after the first drive, I believe. And we talk about how important getting Stephon Diggs has been for this offense during the month of October. Well, here in November now, it's clear we don't just need Diggs. We need Diggs and Thielen back and rocking to get this offense at their peak potential.
Yep. I got 2 points. I got to get running here, though, guys. The first point is I agree. I think it's fair to not put the complete blame on Kirk Cousins for this one. Like I said, I need to go back. I need to actually watch the game. But first and foremost, this. Knowing that Zimmer and the defense are essentially 12 men who have to figure this all out constantly, it's really, really difficult for that to always come together all the time, right? So with that being said, because you have 11 guys who are not exactly sticky, you have to roll. What is the counter argument to if Zim has a bad game, per se, who else can we rely on? And the only other person that we can rely on is Kirk Cousins. Like, he has to be the guy who can overcome his crappy coach decisions sometimes that happens. Now,
that's a fair point. I got to say, Flip, that's a fair point.
Not to say that that's always going to happen, but the hope and our hope needs to be that he can every so often. Second point to what Flip just talked about. I know that people are saying that, yes, I do agree that we miss Adam Thielen. However, I will say the offense has clicked over the last almost month with Stephon Diggs leading the charge.
But right? Adam Thielen's still playing.
No, that's why I said, yes, we have missed him. But I will say having him back is helpful, but running the offense through Stephon Diggs first is why the offense has been clicking over the last month. Think about those 4 straight games of Stephon Diggs having 143 plus yards or whatever the case is. It's because they're feeding him the way that he probably argued, like, yo, feed me the ball and we will win. And that's what's been happening. Now, this game, it's a little bit different. You guys should know, I've said it multiple times, our wide receiver depth has been atrocious for a few years. I have been advocating for us to get a guy that can come in and spell Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. There hasn't been that guy. Now we're starting to see it even more so because there isn't that consistent third option that we can go to at a wide receiver, not a tight end or running back, whatever the case, but at wide receiver. And I think it's starting to bite them in the butt.
I can't. We're not going to just restate our past arguments and priors here. The offense is about being able to be versatile and win in different ways. So when you come out in those first 4 games and you run the ball well, you still need to be able to evolve and start passing and get Stephon Diggs involved. Same thing now. When you get Stephon Diggs going, defenses are going to adjust for that. So you need to be able to adjust, either go back to Dalvin Cook or start featuring Adam Thielen now. There's no one set recipe that's going to work over all 16 games.
Completely agree, Flip, unless it's to Stephon Diggs. Anyways, let's do it again really soon. All right.
All right.
See y'all.
Yinka.
All right, Yinka.
Peace,
Look,
Yinka.
I mean, I think he has a point.
Blame it on Yinka.
Yeah, it's got to be on Yinka because Yinka causes all the problems.
It's good conversation.
It was. I'm sorry that all of it went to,
I'm sorry to railroading. I'd like to get more opinions from you and Ted but I just had to state my piece.
it wasn't bad. I mean, and trust me, Flip, I love your positivity because I can go down that rabbit hole that goes.
We all can.
And,
We all can.
And being a fan as long as I have, we need that positivity.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a tough year. There's a lot of other great NFC teams out there.
And the NFC looks to be so far ahead of the AFC.
Oh, 100%. So, come playoff time, they're going to have to battle to make the playoffs. And come playoff time, it's going to be a bloodbath in the NFC. And I think that the things we're hyper-focused on because we're Vikings fans is we're hyper-focused not just on the Kansas team make the playoffs, but we're looking for that Super Bowl. It's hard to project them in that Super Bowl right now. It's hard to project any NFC team in the Super Bowl right now.
Yeah, because everybody sets their standard against the Patriots.
Right. And so can I tell you who's going to win 49ers versus Vikings? No, but I also can't tell you who's going to win Packers versus Vikings or Packers versus 49ers. Packers are down by 9 to the Chargers right now. Can I tell you who's going to win, Saints versus Cowboys? Can I tell you who's going to win that game? No, Saints are the better team, but they played last year and the Cowboys shut them down and they went in and won in the Superdome in New Orleans last year. So it's going to be an absolute bloodbath in the NFC come playoff time. Really just got to get there and hope for a puncher's chance.
Be healthy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We going to get Ted back?
I don't think so. I'm trying, but I don't think so. He's not popping up.
Well, I probably have to run as well. Do you think you can somehow work that magic?
I can massage this into a show, and we can have it go out on Tuesday because, of course, on Monday we have Good Morning Gjallarhorn in the Raw, which will give us Drew and Ted and my reactions to this wonderful game, which we lost.
When are you recording that?
We've already done it. It's done.
Oh, you recorded it right away, right?
Yeah. Right after. We're within 5 minutes after the final gun. We are recording. So, and we get our initial reactions. Drew blames everything on Zimmer. I tend to give Zimmer a break and blame everything on Kirk Cousins. But, hey, that's the two of us, and Ted follows in somewhere in between.
In between. All right.
But, anyways, good to talk to you, brother. We will talk next week as Climbing the Network podcast rolls on, baby.
Yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. Have a great one.
You too, brother. Bye-bye.
Holy moly, you with the team or you don't. That means tell the rock we roll like Bon Jovi.
Let's rock, let's roll.